When colossal power is concentrated in the hands of a leader, a colossal threat arises as well. In this episode, we will reveal the secrets of their impenetrable defenses, weaponry, tactics, and even the incredible expenses that have become the stuff of legend. Can an ordinary person even imagine the kind of budget, resources, and military might these people command to keep themselves safe? Stay with us until the very end. On the channel for the wealthiest, you'll discover truly astonishing details that rarely leak from behind the scenes of the highest echelons of power. Luxury life. Many believe that Guinea's former president, Alpha Condé, would hold on to power and have one of the strongest security systems in the country. After all, at one time Condé invested considerable funds in modernizing the army. The military budget figures alone reached around $119 million. In the mid-2000s, which made up a significant portion of the country's gross domestic product, he formed an entire special elite unit called the Special Forces, expecting that these professionals would be a reliable pillar of his power. However, events took a different turn. At the head of the forces created by Condé himself stood Mamadi Doumbouya, a military officer whom the president had personally promoted from the rank of corporal to the leader of the newly formed unit. It was this elite force entrusted with suppressing crime and combating terrorism that one day turned its weapons against its own patron, and as a result, Alpha Condé was overthrown in a swift and decisive coup. The personalization of politics or political life is over. We will no longer entrust politics to a single man. We will entrust it to the people. That is the only reason we have come. Now Mamadi Doumbouya is the interim president. His security detail consists of those very same highly trained fighters, ready to defend the new government with unquestioning discipline. According to some reports, they have at their disposal combat helicopters, anti-tank missile systems, and advanced artillery systems. Moreover, his personal safety is the #1 priority. Guinea's special forces are ready to respond instantly and use any equipment so generously supplied to them by the former president. Thus, it is precisely thanks to Condé's endless investments that Doumbouya can now afford the luxury of maximum protection. In light of this irony of fate, it becomes clear just how costly it can be to have an overly powerful personal military force. When it comes to North Korea's political system, it's hard to imagine a country that is more closed off and at the same time more militarized. Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un is a figure who sparks a great deal of controversy. But no one can deny that his security detail is one of the most impressive on our planet. You can notice this simply by observing how the head of state moves around. A whole squad of bodyguards usually runs alongside his armored limousine. All of them are carefully selected and meet strict criteria. The first thing that stands out is that each of them is about the same height as the leader. It is believed that this way, Kim Jong-un does not feel uncomfortable because of bodyguards towering over him. But this detail is just the tip of the iceberg. Moreover, the Central Security Office, known as the Supreme Leader's Command, requires background checks on several generations of a candidate's family to eliminate even the slightest doubt about their loyalty. At the same time, Kim Jong-un also has a much larger umbrella security structure. More than 100,000 military personnel are considered a reserve in case of a threat to the leader. And this does not include special units ready to deploy armored vehicles and an entire fleet of combat machines. Many experts believe that in the event of an attack, the bodyguard group would be instantly supported by mobile squads with enough firepower for a small-scale armed conflict. And this is quite justified considering how many external forces express dissatisfaction with the regime in Pyongyang. Ironically, in North Korea, despite the shortage of finances and goods for its citizens, the lion's share of the state treasury is spent precisely on protecting the person whose decisions shape this very system. Among contemporary political figures, the world's media often pays special attention to the president of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Many envy his influence, and his sharp statements often earn him new enemies. But perhaps he feels so confident only because he has a truly impressive security apparatus behind him. It is said that in standard situations, Erdogan is accompanied everywhere by a team of about 60 bodyguards. But that's just a surface. The number of snipers positioned at all strategic points in the president's vicinity usually reaches up to 100 people. And when the threat level rises, the number of snipers can reach several thousand. There have even been reports of 3,000 trained sharpshooters. Each of them is capable of spotting the slightest suspicious movement from a great distance. The weapons used by these special units are a true asset of the Turkish defense industry local models of assault rifles and sniper rifles with impressive combat characteristics. But when it comes to the motorcade, there's plenty to see as well. The Turkish president's motorcade sometimes consists of a dozen luxurious armored vehicles, with trained personnel sitting behind tinted windows, ready to use force the very moment they deem it necessary. Interestingly, these same security guards have repeatedly been involved in international scandals, as they have forcefully suppressed any attempts at protest even on the territory of other countries. However, Ankara, it seems, is prepared to take any measures necessary to ensure that Recep Tayyip Erdogan's security remains uncompromised. And, by the way, it is said that the Turkish president has spent impressive amounts from the state budget on all these measures, up to several $100 million in recent years. Running a country with a population of over 1 billion is an extraordinary challenge. And Xi Jinping understands perfectly well that his security must be flawless. An impressive level of protection is provided by the Central Security Bureau, which reports to a special department and oversees the very same Central Guard regiment. According to some insiders, this regiment may consist of thousands of personnel, divided into several brigades and groups, each responsible for a strictly defined aspect of protecting the head of state. When Xi Jinping visited Hong Kong, the media counted about 50 police vehicles in just one motorcade. It is also worth noting the bodyguards with lightweight ballistic suitcases, which can instantly transform into protective shields when needed. Rumor has it that these same suitcases may conceal miniature machine guns, capable of responding to any assassination attempt. And to ensure that the presidential car does not stop at any traffic lights, the city is blocked off in advance, and additional sniper forces are deployed at the approaches. Xi Jinping's limousine itself is an armored model from a Chinese premium brand, known as Hongqi. Its doors, windows, and underbody are reinforced with several layers of armor, and inside, according to rumors, there are systems for signal jamming and even air filtration in case of a gas attack. All of this is just part of a large-scale security strategy. After all, on a global scale, China's advanced technologies, including facial recognition systems and comprehensive cyber intelligence, also serve to protect the country's top leadership. According to some estimates, such measures cost astronomical sums, which are not disclosed directly, but within China's enormous budget, they can reach several $100 million annually. The world's second most populous country, India, is striving to maintain a strong position in global politics. Its Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, wields enormous influence, and few realize the extent of the expenses required for his security. According to official data, nearly $50 million are spent annually on protecting the current head of government. This is an order of magnitude higher than in previous years. At the same time, many believe that the actual amount could be even higher. At the core of Modi's protection is a special security group made up of several thousand professionals. These individuals specialize in counterintelligence, hand-to-hand combat, and the use of the most advanced weaponry. At their disposal is an entire fleet of armored vehicles, including BMWs, Range Rover SUVs, and specially reinforced Mercedes cars. It is said that the windows in Modi's limousines are so strong that they can withstand fire from large-caliber weapons, and the undercarriage can resist mine explosions. For additional protection, the fuel tanks are covered with Kevlar, the doors are reinforced with several layers, and the wheels are capable of driving even with punctured tires. If you spot the Prime Minister on the move, you'll see an entire convoy on wheels. The whole motorcade performs clearly defined roles, from vehicles equipped with monitoring systems and radio signal jammers to ambulances capable of providing assistance in the event of an attack. Any road the Prime Minister travels on is closed off, and nearby streets are patrolled by special forces personnel. And even when Modi travels by plane, helicopters are always on standby for aerial escort, along with a special fleet of Boeings. For example, a Boeing 777, modified in a manner similar to the US Air Force One. The expenses for such airborne offices are truly colossal, since they can be equipped with anti-missile systems and other high-tech devices that cost enormous amounts, starting from tens of millions of dollars. Saudi Arabia is a country that is rightfully called an oil giant. Crown Prince and Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman is one of the most influential figures not only in his region but also on the world stage. His personal fortune is estimated at tens of billions of dollars, and he spares no expense when it comes to his own protection. Having previously served as Minister of Defense, Prince bin Salman initiated a large-scale reform of the Saudi army. Many institutions that previously belonged to different branches of power ended up under his unified control. After gaining control over the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Intelligence and the State Security Service, he effectively formed his own military apparatus, ready to respond instantly to any threat. According to unofficial reports, the prince's personal security staff grows year by year. It was said that 2 years ago he planned to increase the number of his bodyguards by another 800 people, all of whom undergo an unprecedentedly rigorous selection process. Saudi security forces spent enormous amounts of money on purchasing modern weaponry. For example, one recent report mentioned a figure of over $20 billion invested in the purchase of the latest air defense systems, armored vehicles and small arms. Some of these technologies are also available to Mohammed bin Salman's personal security, since it is crucial for him to be certain that any assassination attempt will be thwarted before it even gets close. Additional emphasis has been placed on cybersecurity. There are rumors about world-class specialists monitoring potential threats in real time. As a result, every step the Crown Prince takes is surrounded by an entire army, from digital intelligence experts to elite operatives armed with the most advanced pistols and rifles. All of this is reinforced by heightened security at the locations where the prince stays. Hotels are equipped with personal scanners, and patrols and special equipment are deployed on the roads. Any high-ranking official would envy such a comprehensive defense. Donald Trump is a business magnate who owns real estate all over the world and also leads one of the most influential countries on the planet. It's only logical that both before and during his presidency, his security was on a completely different level. And when Trump became head of state, the United States government shelled out record amounts of money. It was said that in his first year in the White House, total security expenses exceeded $29 million, and later approached as much as $120 million. This was taking into account how often he traveled with his entire family. The official security structure is the United States Secret Service. It includes several thousand employees spread across various divisions. This entire army is coordinated to provide the president and his family with the highest possible level of protection. At the heart of the presidential motorcade is traditionally the legendary limousine known as the Beast. It's a real tank on wheels, equipped with multi-layered armor, its own oxygen supply, protection against chemical attacks, and bulletproof windows several inches thick. They say the doors are so heavy that, in terms of specifications, they are comparable to an airplane cabin door. And in the trunk, in addition to medical kits, you can find bags of blood matching the president's blood type. This vehicle is accompanied by an equally impressive support team: motorcycles, SUVs with bodyguards and counterintelligence agents, and vehicles equipped with signal jamming equipment. Somewhere at the end of the motorcade, there is an ambulance, fully equipped for emergency assistance. And beyond that, there are additional special units, ready to counter any threat, from street protests to heavily armed attackers. In addition, the president always has air support at their disposal. One of the planes uses the call sign Air Force One, along with helicopters known as Marine One. Moreover, these aircraft are essentially flying fortresses, equipped with missile defense systems and secure communication channels. And all of this, of course, costs taxpayers an enormous amount of money. We are talking about tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars annually. But both the public and Trump himself have gotten used to this, with Trump repeatedly emphasizing that his security is a matter of strategic importance for the country. By the way, if you want to learn more about the secret life of billionaire Donald Trump, after this episode, follow the prompts to that video. Meanwhile, in the heart of Russia, where matters of national security remain the highest priority, there exists a powerful and mysterious organization that protects the head of state. The Federal Protective Service, which bears exceptional responsibility, works discreetly yet tirelessly to ensure the safety of Vladimir Putin. Official data on the number of personnel in this service is strictly classified, and only unofficial, unverified sources suggest that approximately 50,000 agents are involved in carrying out high-priority assignments. These specialists accompany the president at every step, carefully monitoring travel routes to ensure that every street the head of state passes through is as safe as possible. And despite the long list of powers and responsibilities, the main mission of the service remains unchanged: to protect the number one target. Thanks to the impeccable work of the agents, several assassination attempts have already been prevented, although the details of these operations remain inaccessible to the general public. Thus, in the shadow of a powerful and secretive special service, the president's security continues its difficult but vital mission, ensuring stability and safety not only for the head of state, but for the entire Russian Federation. From armored limousines with smart protection to entire armies of dedicated specialists, these people and technologies work toward a single goal: to preserve the life of the leader on whom the hopes of the nation rest. If you are interested in the world of luxury, the fates of famous and insanely wealthy individuals, and in general everything that is most expensive and lavish, then subscribe to the channel for the richest. There will be plenty of similar fascinating content here.